So if you want to just quickly describe how the festival, the idea for the festival came about.
Is because of the East Asian Film Society. I was coming up and, we did the sponsorship project of me helping out with the Coventry East Asian Film Society because I was very interested in university students getting into Asian cinema. And I came up, we showed CUEAFS about maybe a year or so ago. And there was a really great turnout and everybody was really into it. So I thought, through time, wouldn't this be a great way of getting more people interested in Asian cinema? Because when you're in London, you've got your crowd that are mostly already going to the Curzon cinema and all that anyway. You're not really going to reach that much of a larger audience or an audience that wouldn't already be there. But in places like Coventry and in Midlands, are we in the Midlands? Sorry, I don't know outside of London very well. But in other places, or in smaller towns or in university towns, you've got people that would have less chance to watch Asian cinema. So we thought, let's do something a little larger that gets not just Coventry Film Society, but also more Coventry students and Warwick students. And we spoke to the Warwick Arts Centre, with John Gord, Spencer and I did, and we thought, well, the Warwick Arts Centre is they've got a great 220-seater auditorium, they've got a great little setup there for screening films, and a cafe and a sort of VIP area or something for wine and all that, a drinks section. So it'll be a great little area to have a festival. And we thought, normally you've got these film festivals that you can access that just show films. And, a lot of these films you're going to have a chance at some point to watch. But if you're a university student in a small town and a festival comes up that gives you the opportunity to meet the directors or people involved with the films and watch these new films for cheap, then obviously I think, well, it's an added incentive for you to go to it. I mean, other than just going to watch a film, if you get all this involved, making it a big event, you're going to be really excited. And from then, you're going to get more into East Asian cinema, hopefully. So we wanted to make it a sort of thing that was mainly by students and for students. They're films from my catalogue, so they're already there. They don't, there's no charge of getting these sorts of films. But they're all quite new films, with the exception of The Message that is, well, it's a new film, but it's not from our catalogue. And I thought, well, let's just screen this. We'll get some money together to get the directors over, and as long as everyone has a good time and gets into it and makes it an event, then I think it'll be a good fun.
Okay. So in addition to what you mentioned about trying to reach the West Midlands and getting out of this sort of London bubble, when you started approaching people in the industry, directors, to come and appear or trying to sort of do some research on the film festival, what was people's reaction from the industry and how has it been from the public for setting up this festival?
Well, I think the whole notion of the festival being a festival mainly by students and for students is the greatest angle, not just as a story for maybe press, but also we found Spencer, especially when he was dealing with the director of The Message, the directors also want to be involved with this and they're more than happy to help because, obviously directors went and learned their trade going to film school, and unless they got too big or got big egos, they've got that sort of connection. Mm-hmm. So having that concept there, instead of just going to another film festival where they're just trying to show off their film, they're really getting in touch with the people that they once were. It's a real novel idea. So everyone was more than happy to do it. And they're really enthusiastic about it, which is great. I mean, the press are as well. So this is the one thing that I hope for. I mean, when Spencer and I have been dealing with the Warwick Arts Centre, we've been really trying to push this and make it a sort of, we want this for the Warwick University, we want this for Coventry University and other universities around, but mainly these two. And that's where we got the most support. And I think that's why Warwick Arts Centre gave it to us in the first place, was because it's all about getting it for students, not just for their crowd that they've already got coming to see. I mean, they have a great little setup there and they show great films. Mm. But I think them as well. I mean, they've got this huge university population there, and I don't think that many students go there as much as normal people from the area. Yeah. And we wanted to change that. We wanted to make it all for the students. So that's the whole plan.
And what can students expect from the additional events around the festival, not just the films, like you said, you know, there will be interviews or there'll be Q&As, the symposium as well. I'm not sure if Third Window is involved with the symposium, but, you know, what can that benefit students, not just from media, but from all the other departments?
Well, of course, I mean, with the symposium, it brings a little more than just watching a film. So a lot of the universities, both universities seem to like that as much more, is that it's not just people going to watch a film and hang with directors, they're also going to learn a little from it as well. So the Q&A sessions, the symposiums, the lectures, the talks, I mean, it's a whole thing. And it's also because, you know, it's also by students and for students, so there should be some sort of student aspect in it, some sort of learning aspect, instead of just watching a film. So I think as a whole thing, and we're even trying to get some sort of club night involved, maybe if we can, to make it a sort of more than one just thing, just a whole big event for learning a bit, for watching the movies, for interacting with the directors, you know, a whole big fantastic event.
Okay. And just quickly as well, as someone who started your own business and have moved, you know, you've worked in sort of different areas and you've now progressed into the festival, what kind of advice could you give to students entering the industry or thinking about that in terms of being able to produce your own festival or making contacts, and how can they use this event specifically for after they graduate?
Well, in terms of using this event, I think everybody just has to realize that maybe most people think, oh, starting a film festival, starting a distribution label must be so hard, and it's impossible because all we hear about are the big companies doing it. But it's, you know, these things are possible. I mean, that's why I like to come here and talk to these people about it, is if you have a real passion for something, a real dream, as long as you obviously have got a slightly business sense, or somebody who can do that. I don't, so I leave it to Spencer, or maybe he leaves it to somebody else. But you've got to obviously incorporate that into it. But if you really have a passion for something, and you all pull together, you know, I hope that maybe in the future you guys can just do this and take it out of my hands. So you guys will have your own film festival that you can organize every year. So you learn, I mean, you just need somebody to sort of show you how. I mean, when I first got into distribution, I worked for another film label, and I learned a few things along the way, and then you just learn, oh, well, it's not that hard, you just do this and that, and then over the years you progress. So it's a learning process, and that's the whole point of coming to university, isn't it? It's to learn. So if you're into film, or you're into something like this, hopefully you can, you know, use it for future endeavors.